managed to take out a decent chunk of his SCVs before his infantry is able to get back here and defend. Obviously, he does have enough infantry to defend what we brought up to his base, but he loses most of his economy in the process, which he's only got 5 SCVs now at this point. Which, with the size of infantry army he has, isn't too big of a deal because he has time to macro up. He's got enough units to buy himself some time to get some SCVs back, but at the same time, that gives us a little bit of time to get 13 back into this game. Now, I do have some Mutilisks out because Roaches are not as mobile as Reapers, and I wanted to make sure I had something that could help defend against that. I only have 2 currently, so unfortunately that wasn't enough to take out these Reapers before they were able to kill 13's base. But I do manage to take a couple of them out, and I noticed he hasn't been producing mass Reapers since then. So although we do see a lot of infantry, there's a lot of Marines, and we do have some Marauders and Marines coming up through the middle here too. He is going to come and try to put the final moves on my main base here. And coming up the ramp, we do spot him. I've got my Mutilisks here, and then I did have an Overlord here spotting the cliff as well. So he kills my Mutilisks because I'm a noob and wasn't paying attention. And fortunately for me, I do have a lot of Roaches with my Queen back here, so I am able to hold this off successfully and keep at least myself alive. Unfortunately, 13 still doesn't have much of a base. One Marauder up in here, basically mopping up the remains. There's a couple pylons and a assimilator, but not much else. And you can see here that Roaches just so strong against infantry. Marauders are very good counters against Roaches if you have enough of them, but unfortunately, his army was so Marine heavy that the Roaches were able to make pretty quick work of it. And as you can see, I've got a lot of damage Roaches, but I didn't lose. I only lost basically 5 or 6 Roaches out of my entire army from that battle, which he had a significantly larger amount of units than I did, but the Roaches are strong enough against infantry that it wasn't a big deal. Anyways, you can see I got the Spire Tech here again, obviously. No Mutalisk currently, and I don't believe... I am producing a couple here. I'm trying to take advantage of that extra larva, although I'm not using it right now, it looks like. And there's one Marauder still giving 13 problems. I managed to take it out with these Zerglings here, but again, he was able to delay 13 from getting a Nexus down. Now, I do move my Roaches out here in an attempt to try to take his front door. He does have his supply depots down right now, but he also does have a significant amount of units defending here with 4 Marauders and 7 Marines and also a Marine inside the bunker here. So once I go up here, yeah, and he does manage to load the rest of that bunker, I decided that that's a bad idea and back off because he now has stim pack for his Marauders as well. And also, I don't know if I particularly mentioned this. Obviously, we attacked the red player Mindwiz earlier. We were able to take out all of his probes and his Nexus as well. So he is no longer in the game, so to speak. I believe he's still spectating the game, but he doesn't have any units, so he's not actively able to do anything. He's basically resting all of his hopes on the abilities of his blue Terran player friend, Travis. Excuse me, I'm going to take a drink of water because my throat is dry. Alright, sorry about that, I'm back. Anyways, 13 is finally managing to get a Nexus up, it looks like, and I do have a decent-sized army of Zerglings and Roaches out in front of his base to try to protect him in case Blue does move out, which it looks like Travis is indeed again moving out right now. I apologize, I don't remember this game very well, so I'm kind of commentating it like I'm seeing it for the first time because, honestly, this was a long game, and it was in the middle of a bunch of games that we played that were very, very close and competitive, so they all kind of ran together for me a little bit in my mind, but... Anyways, the Terran player moving out again here. A decent-sized army, but I have enough here, and then also still producing more at my base, although apparently not much right now. I am getting ready to give 13 a bunch of money, though, because I need him back in this game, and he finally gets his Nexus up and is able to start producing at it. So, hopefully getting 13 back in this game at this point, and some Mutalisks able to come here. Now, you'll notice that I told the Mutalisks specifically to snipe the Marauders. Marauders are the biggest threat to my heavy Roach army, like I mentioned earlier, and he had a lot of them that time. My Roaches were able to take down the Marines relatively quickly, but I used the addition of my Mutalisks, which I have 6 of them, to focus fire down his Marauders, which in the end was what made the difference in that battle there, because the Marauders are really what he needs to chip away at that Roach force. Now, since I have 6 Mutalisks here, I decided to send them out and do a little scouting. See if the blue Terran player Travis had tried to expand anywhere else, which it looked like he had an SCV ready to expand there, so I took that out before he was able to do anything with it. And going back to his mineral line, he does have turrets up, so I was not able to actually get any solid harassment off on his main base. But also on a positive note, I was able to scout with him and did notice that he did not expand anywhere else. So even though I am still one basing, he is as well, and my ally is getting back in the game at this point. So as you can see here, he does have a forge now. He's hiding some of his tech back in my base. He's able to get a few cannons up here to help defend, because right now I've only got a handful of Zerglings. I am myself getting ready to start going for an expansion. You can see I'm breaking down these destructible rocks. I am going to actually take this expansion in between the bases here. And I do see that his army is moving out, so immediately I start producing more units, because I am going to need all the help I can to defend that. And luckily 13 again does have these cannons on the high ground, so that is going to be extremely useful in defending against this Marauder Marine army, which again, it looks like he's gone much more heavy on the Marines than the Marauders. So the Roaches are a good choice. Unfortunately, I don't have as many Roaches as I did the first time, but luckily I do have more Mutalisks, so that should be enough to take out this army. And of course it is. He does have 5 Marauders with Stimpak still, though, so even with Mutalisks pounding on them, the Marauders are able to do a decent amount of damage, because Mutalisks just can't take down the Marauders quick enough, and with Stimpak they do so much damage to buildings. And he's sending out another small task force. I'm not sure why. I've got enough Mutalisks here to take that out, and Roaches are on the way as well. Now you can see that I have already started my hatchery out here. I'm getting ready to get my economy boosted a little bit, because my money is almost gone at my main, which is bad news bears if you don't have another expansion, which I probably should have expanded earlier, in all honesty, now watching this game. Because if I would have expanded earlier, then I could have kept my unit production more consistent, and may have even been able to put pressure back on blue earlier. Of course, I stayed at my base primarily most of the time. Another small battle going on here, although I try to take on more Marines than I should have, so I end up losing that battle initially. But my Roaches come up here and do save the day for me. And we are able to take out the rest of the Marines, but these Marauders are more